Hey YouTube, I hope you guys are all doing well. Adrian here from PipeDreamHookah, and today I'll be bringing you a tobacco review. Today's review is going to be on Mazaya's Lemon Mint. And before we get into all of the good stuff like clouds, flavor, and smell of the tobacco, I'm going to go ahead and put over to some B-roll for you to show you the cut and how I pack it. I will be right back. Okay guys, so getting into the specs on this tobacco, Mazaya as a company launched in 2010, and the can that they put their tobacco into is a pretty unique design. The lid is unlike any lid I've seen before for any other brand, and it provides an airtight seal so your tobacco stays fresh for a good long time. It is a French blonde tobacco and it is cut medium. The cut is fairly consistent and there aren't very many stems at all. It is an undyed tobacco, although some of their flavors are dyed, such as double apple and mint. We will be packing it in Hookah John's wide gauge Harmony bowl, and to start our pack, we're just going to fluff it around the bowl just above the rim, like so. And once you've achieved this, you can go ahead and take a foil poker or a toothpick will also work and lightly adjust the tobacco to rim level. It's important not to use your fingers to do this, as it will put the tobacco into a semi-dense state and it will not perform optimally under these conditions. Now to foil our bowl, we're just going to use the typical technique. We're going to grab one layer of heavy-duty foil and we're going to drum tight it shiny side down around the bowl. Once you're finished here, you can go ahead and take your foil poker or toothpick and poke a 3-ring hole pattern around the outside of the bowl like so. And once you're finished there, you're going to get your final product and it looks something like this. Just a quick note about Mazaya, it is a very heat resistant tobacco, so I would start by using 3 coals when you're first trying it, but you can go ahead and use 4 later. We will be using a glass handled dehose, a silver KM to smoke it out of. We will be using the wide gauge Harmony bowl like I mentioned before, and we will be using Hookah John's titanium flats. Okay, so over there in the B-roll, I did show you how I would typically pack this tobacco, because in my opinion, it's the way that it performs best, in that kind of almost semi-dense state, but not really, somewhere in the in-between of fluffing it and semi-densing it. But I do want to point out that you can kind of fluff pack the tobacco as well. What that will do is it'll bring out more of the mint than the lemon. In the flavor. That's just kind of a side note, and I would honestly pack it the way I showed you in the B-roll, but that's just something to be aware of as we move through this review. It's kind of another way to enjoy this tobacco, so just keep that in mind. So starting with the smell of this stuff, let's get into that really quick, because I do think that it smells really good. Yep, I've smoked a kilo of this stuff and it still smells the same. So what you're going to get when you open this up and smell it is kind of this zesty lemon. It comes across as more of like a zesty, kind of a, not really sour, just zesty is the only word I can think of to describe the scent of the tobacco. And you get some mint as well. As a matter of fact, the mint's fairly prominent. I'd say it's about 40% the mint scent you're kind of picking up on, and then 60% the lemon scent, and it comes across very nice. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too sweet when you open the can up at first. In my opinion, that's a very good thing. I'm not a big fan of overly sweet smokes. So if you are, there are a few other lemon mints I may give a shout out to that you might try. But this particular tobacco comes across as kind of a zesty, minty, overall refreshing scent. That's what you pick up when you open it up and smell it. You know what it smells like. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few clouds. This is a disclaimer. I'll say this before I show anyone any clouds from any tobacco. Nowadays, not all, but most tobacco is going to perform pretty well in the cloud department, as long as you pack it correctly. Different tobaccos want to be packed different ways. But for the most part, if you know how to pack a tobacco and you know how to heat manage it properly, and your pipe's set up the correct way, you're going to usually produce clouds that are at least like a 7 or an 8 on a 10 scale. But we'll get into some of these clouds really quick, so let me just show you too. So yeah, obviously these clouds are going to be pretty thick and full-bodied. They're not the biggest clouds ever, but I would give them like a 7 out of the 10 scale. There's definitely some brands that will produce larger clouds than this, but that's fine, because the next thing I want to get into is the flavor of the tobacco. We'll go inhale, exhale, because the flavors are a little bit different on the inhale than they are on the exhale. It's a very subtle difference, but it's something I've noticed if you're smoking like a kilo, 1.25 kilos of it. So on the inhale, right on your tongue, you get this really zesty kind of a 50-50 mix between like, well, it's more like a 60-40 mix because it does lean a little bit more towards the artificial lemon drop candy kind of a flavor. And then it's also, but it's 40% kind of a natural lemon, kind of like a bitter lemonade kind of a taste. It's very pleasant. And then you do get a little bit of that mint on the inhale as well. The way I packed it, as I mentioned earlier, there's a way to pull more mint out of this, but I prefer it to be lemon mint, not mint lemon. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but it makes sense up here. But yeah, so on the inhale, you get a nice zesty lemon mix up between natural and artificial, and a little bit of mint, not overpowering, but it's definitely there. Some brands that do flavors with mint, they don't nail the mint part of the flavor. Sometimes you can just go through the entire session and not see the mint at all. That is not the case, at least on the inhale with this. Now moving on to the exhale and the flavor profiles that come with that. So when you exhale, if you're exhaling through your mouth, a lot of that mint zest is going to kind of die down a little bit. Or not the mint zest, the lemon zest, I apologize. A lot of that lemon zest is going to die down a bit, and it's going to kind of take a back seat, and a little bit, not much, but a little bit more of the mint is going to kind of show up in kind of show its head in the mix. All together, on the exhale through your mouth, it's just a little weaker, a little more airy, but I feel like that's usually to be expected. That's been my experience with most tobaccos. When you exhale through your nose, though, it's a little bit of a different story. When you exhale through your nose, you do get this kind of you almost feel it up here in your nasal cavity, kind of this like twinge, this zesty kind of, I don't really know how to explain it. You can almost feel the zest of the lemon when you're exhaling through your nose. And you get a little bit more of the mint, but not very much. It's only something I've noticed through a whole kilo plus of testing this flavor out. But yeah, overall the smell, clouds, and taste come out very nicely. So as far as those departments go, this tobacco is great in my opinion. I give it a 8 or 9 out of 10. I want to move on to a few other points before I kind of wrap this thing up. One thing that I really like, and this isn't just the lemon mint, this is the brand in general. I did do some research on the brand before cutting this review, and I did find out that Mazaya uses solar energy in the production of their Shisha tobaccos, which is obviously, objectively a good thing. Any way that we can avoid depleting Mother Nature and Earth is a good thing in my book, so good on you, Mazaya. Also, a little note, this isn't something that really gets me unless we get into the realm of dark leaf tobaccos, but buzz is a factor for some people. This is, like I said in the B-roll, a French blonde tobacco, and unless you didn't eat and you're not drinking anything, and you're just ripping it nonstop, I don't think you're going to get any kind of head buzz, to be honest with you. But yeah, all in all, this tobacco is absolutely fantastic. It is my lemon mint of choice. I've had a handful of lemon mint flavors, and this is my favorite one. So there you go. I'm going to give the flavor on a 10 scale. Let's just give it a solid 8. Now let's go ahead and move into vendors, because that's kind of an awkward thing to talk about after I went ahead and gave it a positive review. Most of the big vendors out there, Hookah Junkie, Hookah Heroes, Hookah Dash Shisha, 5-Star Hookah, all those guys actually don't stock this stuff, which makes it kind of awkward. Hookah John does have a category in his drop-down menu to select different brands of Shisha. However, it's empty right now. So my intuition tells me that he's probably going to be adding it in at some point in the future. But right now you can't get it on any of the major vendors that I know of, which is kind of awkward, right? Because I just gave you a positive review, but don't worry, there is a way you can pick this stuff up. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to pick it up with the rest of your haul if you're going to do a big stock order for your house. But if you want to try this stuff out, and I do suggest it because the price point is usually pretty good, between $10 and $15 for a 250, depending on where you source it, and if you buy in bulk, it's much cheaper. But Amazon actually stocks the stuff, which is just fantastic. It means you can actually get it online. I live over here in Dearborn, which is kind of like a, kind of the mecca of like Middle Eastern style tobaccos. So like Al Fakr and Knock, stuff like that. I can just get it locally, so I'm lucky enough to be able to pick them up for 10 bucks a pop 2 miles away. Unfortunately, most of you won't be able to do that. So I would look to Amazon for all your sourcing needs for Mazaya right now. And then in the near future, I keep checking back with Hookah John because he's usually very fair about his pricing, and I think he's going to be getting it in stock pretty soon. Other than that, that's all I really have to say. So thank you so much for watching my review on Mazaya's Lemon Mint. And if you did, if you feel you got any value from this video, if you would consider subscribing, that would be awesome. And maybe like this video and drop a comment if there's any, if you have any criticism or questions, or maybe you want to request something to be reviewed by this channel. I will take most requests. So if you have anything you're interested in trying, but you're not sure you want to invest the money into buying a product without knowing what's going on, go ahead and hit me up. I'll go ahead and do a review for you on it. That will be no problem at all. I absolutely love smoking shisha and reviewing it for you guys. But that's it. So thank you very much for watching, you guys, and happy smoking.